The doorbell was still vibrating in the air when I realized my hands were shaking. Not the loud kind of shaking, the quiet kind. The kind that happens inside bones. I opened the door, already knowing my life had miscalculated something. She stood there with rain on her eyelashes and my wife's face from 20 years ago. Not similar. Identical. Same narrow chin. Same left dimple that only appeared when she tried not to smile. Same eyes that always looked like they were hiding a second conversation underneath the first. She held her hands together like she was afraid they might float away. "Nice to meet you, Dad." The word landed softly. It still split something open. For a moment, I couldn't feel my tongue. My name sat useless in my throat. My house felt borrowed. My memories rearranged themselves without asking permission. My wife had buried this child with words. Miscarriage. Complications. Military hospital. No body, no funeral, just paperwork and a silence that hardened into fact. I invited the girl inside because men like me are trained to move even when the mind fractures. She sat on the edge of the sofa, didn't lean back, like a guest in a courtroom. I studied her breathing, the slight tremor in her fingers, the way her eyes kept returning to the hallway, as if my wife might emerge from it and turn her into smoke. "You look just like her," I said. "I know." 2 syllables, clean, controlled. She told me her name. I didn't repeat it. Repeating would make her reel too quickly. She said she'd found me through old documents, a storage unit, a box labeled Deployment 2006. My wife's handwriting. The room began to tilt, slow and deliberate. I watched her mouth move. Words passed through me without staying. Adoption, private family, closed arrangement, promises made by a woman who cried beautifully. "I didn't want money," she said. "I just wanted to see you once." Once? A temporary word, a merciful one. I nodded. I even offered her water. My reflection in the glass cabinet looked calm. Military calm. The kind that survives explosions. Inside, something older than rage began counting. Dates, distances, medical impossibilities. My wife had never lost a baby. She had relocated one. I asked no more questions. I hugged her lightly when she left. Not like a father. Like a witness, careful not to disturb evidence. When the door closed, the house exhaled. I didn't sit. I didn't breathe deeply. I stood in the hallway and replayed 20 years of a woman perfecting the art of controlled grief. And I understood something with surgical clarity. This was not a reunion. It was the opening move. I did not confront my wife. Men who sprint toward truth only die tired. I became slow, precise. I kissed her forehead each morning like a loyal husband. I listened to her complain about small things. Burnt toast, rising prices, the neighbors' laughter. I memorized her voice the way soldiers memorize escape routes. At night, while she slept beside me with her hand on my chest like a signature on stolen property, I rebuilt 20 years. Phone records first. One number repeated during my deployment, always after midnight, always erased 6 months later. Medical records next. The hospital she cried about had no trace of her name. No miscarriage. No blood. No bed. Only a private clinic 2 hours south. Discreet, expensive, willing to turn a child into paperwork. Then the DNA test. I used the cup the girl drank from. Carried it like evidence. Like bone. The result arrived in a thin envelope that felt heavier than my wedding ring. 99.98%. Proof does not scream. It whispers. I placed the envelope on the kitchen table between her tea and her pills. Neutral territory. I did not sit. I did not soften my voice. "Who is he?" Not if. Not why. Who? Her face did not break. It folded, a structure collapsing inward. She reached for the envelope. Her hands trembled, real trembling, the kind she never practiced. "You were gone," she said. "I was lonely. He promised nothing. I panicked." Her excuses fell like loose nails. I felt no urge to step on them. "She came to my door," I said. "Your daughter." The word struck her harder than any slap. "She has your face," I continued. "Your eyes, even your pause before smiling." My wife slid into the chair as if gravity finally remembered her address. "She didn't ask for money," I said. "She asked for a father." Silence. I leaned closer. "I told her you'd want to meet her." I had not. But cruelty does not require accuracy. Her breath fractured. "You gave her my number?" No, I said, not yet. Hope tried to rise in her. I crushed it carefully. But she knows your name now, your lies, your handwriting. I picked up my coat. She grabbed my sleeve. I stepped away. Later, I would erase her from my future, change addresses, numbers, history. But first, I gifted her something permanent. Waiting, uncertainty, a daughter-shaped shadow that would sit beside her every night. I left the house without looking back. The door did not slam. It sealed. Some women bury babies. Some bury husbands. Mine managed both, and I walked away finally knowing I was never married to a woman, only to a well-decorated crime scene.